The first ever summit between Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un has come to an end. The leaders of Russia and North Korea spent more than 2 hours in a closed meeting discussing everything from denuclearization to expanding bilateral relations. Our correspondent Ilya Petrenko summarises events from the city of Vladivostok.
Well, it turns out that, in a sense, Kim Jong-un is counting on Vladimir Putin as a kind of a middleman in delivering his messages to the rest of the world leadership. By the way, Mr. Putin's next destination is Beijing. There you have it. But it looks like Chairman Kim is hoping that his message will get all the way to Washington through Russia as well.
Chairman Kim asked me directly to tell the US about his position and about the questions he has in connection with the situation on the Korean Peninsula.
We also found out that the Russian leader is confident that Pyongyang's essential desire is international security guarantees for sovereignty. And when it comes to denuclearization, according to Mr. Putin, the only way forward is through these kind of guarantees. I would like to remind you that for years, Russia's peace roadmap was about mutual concessions from both sides, that of North Korea on the one hand and South Korea and allies on the other. And China is backing this plan too. Well, the Russian president believes that for years, every step forward made by Washington was followed by 2 steps backwards.
We need some confidence-building measures to be taken, which could have been taken back in 2005 when the US and North Korea came to an agreement. However, later on, for some reason, the American partners thought this was not enough, that they needed to add something more to this agreement. That's when North Korea withdrew from the treaty. If you're making a step forward and 2 steps back, you'll never succeed.
After what we heard on Thursday, it is definitely fair to say that there is a lot of potential in Kim-Putin summit. And by the way, the president of South Korea a few hours ago said that this summit in Vladivostok should act as a springboard for further top-ranked diplomacy between Washington and Pyongyang. So Chairman Kim has been enjoying contacts with the most powerful politicians on this planet. His 2 historic summits with the American President Donald Trump were followed by one with Vladimir Putin. And it looks like Mr. Kim knows what he's doing when he's playing his geopolitical game.
OK, let's take a closer look now at the atmosphere during the talks and how President Putin welcomed his North Korean counterpart in Russia's Far East. Body language expert Howard Feltman breaks down what the leaders' movements could say about them.
One of the interesting things about Vladimir Putin, and we see this often with whomever he's meeting, he's very protective of his own space. It's very rare for somebody to come into his zone or close to his proximity. When they shook hands, he was quite dominant. Kim Jong-un, and by dominant I mean his hand takes more of a downward position. We saw that Kim Jong-un wanted to try and establish a bit of dominance there himself. When he got to that point, that's when Putin kind of let go. It was quite a long handshake, and I think that handshake was very important. By the time that they were sitting on those chairs having that conversation, there was very, very little movement from Kim Jong-un. He was quite uncomfortable. I think there was a sense of relief that this was over, actually, for Kim Jong-un. And there's no doubt that the summit was really about just having a summit. It was an easier discussion in that it was really just more about the historic event. He was quite relieved when it was over, but I don't think by any means that it had gone exactly how he was hoping that it would go.